quick question. Do you like eating Jollibee? Are you a Jolly fan? And here's another question for you. Do you want to know how to make money by being a Jolly fan? Well, you're in the right video because today we're gonna talk about number one, why Jollibee? Number two, the Jollibee stock performance. Number three, how to actually invest in Jollibee. Number four, should you actually invest? And then stay till the end and I'm gonna share a bonus way for you to really invest and go all in Jollibee if you have the capital to do so. So if you're ready, let's get started. All right, so a lot of Filipinos, a lot of people in general, they love Jollibee. And then the fact is that in every location, every place that Jollibee opens up a new location, there's a lineup. There's a huge lineup of people, not just Filipinos, but their friends, their family, their co-workers. I've done it, right? New store opening up in Calgary, Toronto, Ottawa. People drive 3, 4, 5 hours to get their Jollibee, right? So what does that tell you? Jollibee is a brand, and it's done a very successful job in marketing itself and creating brand recognition that people are willing to drive hours to go get a bite of Jollibee, right? But here's what a lot of people don't know is that by being a fan of Jollibee and supporting Jollibee, you can actually also make money with the growing company, right? So here's what smart people do with the growing trend of Jollibee, and let's break it down, right? By being a Jollibee fan and then having a little bit of capital to invest, you can also take part of the growing Jollibee trend, right? So before we do that, let's actually break it down. So Jollibee is a powerful brand. So it is tied into the Filipino culture like no other. We know we've seen their emotional ads, their storytelling. It's part of the Philippine culture. And then Filipinos abroad, like I said earlier, myself included, we line up to stores, drive hours to go to stores. And then everybody, every OFW, every Filipino in the world knows the brand Jollibee with strong brand loyalty. Globally, Jollibee has over 1,500 locations. 1,500 locations across the world in 33 countries. They're expanding in North America, Middle East, Europe, and then they also own Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, Smash Burger, and Tim Ho and other brands, right? So they're not just Jollibee, they also own these other brands. They've been acquiring these brands. What does that mean, right? So it means if you're investing in Jollibee, you're also investing in these other brands that they've purchased. Now, across the board, we've seen them with regional expansions, North America, Middle East, Europe. Their portfolio includes Coffee Beans, Tea Leaf, Smash Burger, Tim Ho and then they have a big footprint across the globe. Now let's take a look at their business and stock performance. This is 2023 data, right? So let's take a look at it. In 2023, they were worth 211 billion pesos, which was a 40% growth over the last 5 years. Net profits were 8.6 billion. That's despite the pandemic. And then they have a market cap of 300 billion as of 2024. Now let's actually look into their stock performance. So if we take a look at Jollibee Foods here, and let's give it the entire time frame. So we can see that they came out of the gate at 20, this is, I believe, 259 pesos right now, and then they opened their trading at 24 pesos, peaked at 315, and this is in 2019, and then after the pandemic down to 142, and then now it's been recovering to 259, right? So that gives us a little bit more room since it's all-time high with projections that it's still gonna recover. So through these websites, through these analysis websites, you can also do further research. For example, you can read up on the news, you can take a look at the charts, financials, and then you can also take a look at different ratings, right? So that's how Jollibee's been performing over the entire time frame. In the last 5 years, we've seen a consistent growth as well. And obviously, you still see these dips, but overall, on a long-term 5-year growth trajectory, we see it, increasing over time. So that's how the stock performance looks like. Now, again here, the last 10 years, you've seen it trade from 150 per share to hitting 320 before the pandemic, and then now trading between 240 and 280 with a recovering and growing again. So what you really want to do is take a look at the Jollibee financial reports, right? And then take a look at their historical stock trends and compare it to their industry peers. And if Jollibee seems to be a good viable option for you, how do you actually now invest in it? Option 1 is to buy it directly. If you go to the Philippine Stock Exchange and then you type in the ticker JFC, if you have an account or through a brokerage, you can buy it directly. Second one is investing in an ETF that holds Jollibee. And if we take a look at what those ETFs are, you have your EPHE, right? So this is globally traded, issued by BlackRock, which tracks the Philippine index. And then you see that it has Jollibee with a 4% holding in there. Now, you also have other ETFs holding Jollibee. And then here, depending on your brokerage or your account, you can take a look at which ETF holds that stock, right? And then third one is if you're an OFW or a foreigner abroad, the best way is to access it with your platform like an eToro account, or have a brokerage account through your Cole Financial, and then just purchase it through those platforms directly, right? Now, if you're a foreign investor and you're not a Filipino, you can still purchase them through the ETFs and through these EPHE, for example. That gives you exposure to it, although not fully, but it gives you a 4.48 exposure to Jollibee. All right, so those will be your action items there. Depending on your circumstance, open up your platform and then you can determine which route to take in investing with Jollibee. So the final thing here is, should you invest in Jollibee? Right? That's the big question. It always goes down to your goals and then your strategies and then your preferences, right? So if you believe in the brand, you see the growth, you have a long-term outlook for it, you see it's bouncing back, maybe it's something that you can invest in long term. If you're gonna keep eating at Jollibee, you're gonna keep wrapping up that stock price, maybe it is. But you also want to consider the risks, timing the market, stock volatility, global competition, right? So there might be things that affect it, where again, there might be another pandemic, who knows? But make sure to understand that there are risks involved in any type of investing, right? Even though it's a big popular brand. Some of the pro tips you can do is set buying targets. Knowing how the price fluctuates, you can stay patient and choose a time to buy in, and then also set selling targets. So when you know you're profitable, you can exit, you take your profit, and then maybe reinvest it back when the market dips. Jollibee is not only good for short-term holds because of the nature of how fast it's growing, especially rebounding after the pandemic, but I also believe it's a good long-term hold considering the brand recognition, the brand value. And I know if you're a Filipino and you're watching this, it's close to impossible that you do not know about Jollibee. All right, so lastly, a bonus way of how you can make money with Jollibee. If you have the capital to invest, you can take a look at franchising Jollibee, right? So here, for example, in this website, you can apply and then you can see if you qualify. The thing about this is that there's a higher capital requirement for starting up a franchise. And if you're business savvy and you want to grow with the brand and you have the capital, then hey, why not explore the franchising option? Otherwise, you also have the option of taking the same capital, putting it in the Jollibee stock, right? Or if you have less capital, that's also the other option for you, is to keep it in the Jollibee stock, right? All right, so pretty much that's it. That is all. Thanks for hanging out in this video. Again, if you're a Jollibee fan and you're wondering how you can make money, not just by enjoying the Jolly meals, but also enjoying the company growth as the valuation goes up, then maybe consider investing in the Jollibee stock. All right, so thanks again for checking out the video. We'll check you out on the next one. Peace.